All right. Welcome back to Shameful Locks. For those who are new or continued watching, I'm Gabe Acosta, Blake Profio. Welcome back. Week 5. Last night, the Bears beat the crap out of the commies. Screw you, commies. Hate commies. We are recording a little bit later than we usually do. We usually try to film during halftime of the Thursday night game, but some of us were busy getting active or overindulging, I would say. So we're recording here during my lunch break at noon on a Friday. So in case anyone from my work watches this, I'm on lunch, buzz off. I'm making bets. But yeah, last night the commies got their dicks kicked in. It felt pretty good. Justin Fields, I knew he didn't suck. He's gonna come out and suck the next week, but it
he's
just
back.
feels good because
he's back.
He's back.
That's all it is.
He's back like he never left. Yeah, and got to rep Ohio State as always. I think he's tied for leading the league, and I know he played Thursday. No one else has played yet, but he's currently tied for the most touchdown passes in the league, which is pretty nuts for a guy who sucks. But yeah. Important orders of business. Let's go ahead and recap last week real quick. I did continue my winning ways. I went 2-1. Blake did unfortunately go 1-2. We'll go over it. So I'll start with me here. I had Raiders Chargers over 48.5. And we both went for our first over-under last week, and we both got screwed by the exact same thing. Starting quarterbacks not playing last second. I had the Raiders Chargers over, like I just said, and Jimmy G apparently has a concussion. I didn't know that. So they started Aiden O'Connell, I think he went to Purdue.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, the old Purdue quarterback. And he put up a fight, but the Chargers almost chargered. They went for it at their own 30-yard line on 4th and 1 again, but they actually got it, so that was weird. Or no, they didn't get it. No, they did. I think they screwed it up again, didn't they?
I think they didn't get it, but then I think they got an interception following that. I think I didn't watch the game, but
that sounds right. Either way, it wasn't that close, unfortunately. I think I still needed 2 more touchdowns.
Yeah.
So that sucked. Bijan over 25.5 receiving yards. That was easy. Mr. Checkdown King, Desmond Ridder did what he does best and throws it to his running back. Scared to throw it downfield, probably because he sucks.
Yeah.
So that was cashed. And then we had some doubters on this one from some people in here. Somebody said, damn, I really like the Giants. I don't really know if I like your Seahawks money line pick. Blake, could you let me know how that went for me?
I think you won that bet. I think you got lucky, but
Seahawks, for those who did not watch, Seahawks won very handedly. I think the final score was 24-3 or something like that. Or
yeah,
21-3.
They're bad. They need Saquon back so bad. They should pay, even though he gets hurt, they should pay Saquon as much money as he wants because they're nothing without him.
Yeah, their offensive line. I saw a video of their own offensive line blocking their own offensive line. Daniel Jones got sacked 11 times in one game. I mean, your body's got to be mush after that, unfortunately. Sorry, Danny Dimes. But I will continue to fade Daniel Jones in prime time. All right. Yes, like I said, I went 2-1. Unit-wise, I went up 0.85. I'm now at 5-7 on the year for minus 2.25 units. We're still getting better, putting the Band-Aids on, recovering from the wounds of week 2. But slowly but surely, I hopefully will become positive. Blake, you did have a 1-2 week. You had Josh Palmer over 43.5 yards, and that was a godsend save, backdoor cover for you.
Yeah, for real. What was it? It was the last play of the game before the kneel downs. He got a 50-yard reception or something like that. I got lucky. I got lucky to win that one. But
yeah, but win's a win, and that's all you needed.
It is, yeah.
You had the over in the Ravens-Browns game, which, again, you had the same issue I did. Deshaun Watson rolled out 2 hours before the game.
But he was medically cleared to play. So, Deshaun Watson, you're a bitch, and I hate you. And, yeah, so.
Yeah, that one was tough. I think he was kind of trying to do the opposite of what Baker Mayfield did and be like, Oh, if I played, I would have screwed myself for the fan base. But I think a lot of people who were wanting DTR to come out and start over him, I think they're now gone.
Yeah.
Browns look bad, real bad. And then you had Calvin Ridley, 75 plus receiving yards, which looked good from the start, and then nothing happened.
I mean, 2 targets the whole game, two for a receiver of that caliber. I mean, I think Christian Kirk got at least double digit targets. So yeah, I ate crap on that bet and most of the weekend. So it was a bad weekend, but it's fresh week here. Looking to get back in the win column.
Yeah, it's bounce back time, baby.
Oh yeah.
Last week, so if you did play all three of Blake's bets, you went down minus 1.17 units on the year. You are now 6-6, 500, baby. Unfortunately, since you are 500, you are now in the negative at minus 0.14 units on the year. But like I just said, it's bounce back time.
Big time.
Hold on, I got a few more housekeeping things we need to discuss before we get into our week 5 picks. So 2 new things we're going to do this week. We're going to try to change it up a little bit. There was a little bit of confusion. So usually every week we try to do one player prop, one game pick, and then what we were calling a wild card pick, which could just be whatever. But there was some not clear definition of wild card because we could see that it could mean whatever you want or risky play. And we wanted to make it a little bit more safer, I guess, because we don't want to just give you something Hail Mary crazy odds pick that's going to make could win a ton of money, but risky. We want to go ahead and give you what the show is called Shameful Locks, our best bets. So we are now changing the name of the wild card bet to a Shameful Lock, if you will. It'll be our best bet of the week, our favorite play. It can be whatever we want, but it will be our best bet of the day. I know all of these are supposed to be our locks, but this will be our favorite play. And we will track that. Again, it's just going to be the same thing as always, but just a little bit of rebranding, if you will. Try to get in the theme with the show. And then at the end, we're also going to do something just for fun. We won't count it towards our record, but we're going to do a little joint TD parlay just for fun. See how we do, shits and giggles. Hopefully we win, obviously. But again, won't count for our record, but we'll just both give our favorite person to score a touchdown this week, tell you the odds of it, and then why we like it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. All right. Real quick, week 5 picks coming up in a second, but do want to address this is the first week of bye weeks. Bye weeks suck, but I get for the players, you need them. They suck for fantasy, a little bit less games to bet on, stuff like that. So this week, we have 4 teams on bye. We got the Browns, Chargers, Seahawks, and Buccaneers. So just want to keep that in mind. And Blake, I think I want to go first this week. I know I usually let you go first. But I think we're gonna change it up.
Yeah, let's go first. We need a change. I'm saying all my picks first, and then you're just crossing me up with these picks. So well, you go first. See how it goes.
All right, I'll start us off this week. I'll start off with my game pick. I am going to the Chiefs Vikings game this week, and I'm going under 53. I got this at minus 112 on DraftKings. And I just think that this matchup, on paper, if you haven't been watching a ton of football this year, I think you go, oh, why would you take the under of that? These are like 2 of the best offenses in the league. But I think this line's way too high for both of these teams. I'll start off with some data here. So the totals of all 4 Chiefs games this year are the following: 41, 26, 51, 43. And the totals of all 4 Viking games are 37, 62, 52, and 34. If you combine those, the total they have combined, both of these teams have only gone over this mark of 53 1 out of 8 times this season. I just think this line is way too high here. The Chiefs have a really legit defense this year, which I think is like the first time in a while. They don't really have to rely on Patrick Mahomes to kind of go save them and just make miraculous plays right now. I just think that their defense is really, really tough and strong, man. And they just, again, I'm not trying to bag on the Chiefs here, but I think that their offense is not as explosive as we're used to seeing from them. I think they need another wide receiver or somebody outside of Kelsey because I think they got a lot of wide receiver 3s or 4s on their team. Kadarius Toney just hasn't been as good as he once was. They got MVS out there. I don't even know if he's getting targets. Jury's still out on Sky Moore, but he just isn't very consistent right now. I just think that they're totally content with just running the ball and putting less of the load on Patrick Mahomes to carry them to a win. And on the other side of the ball here, the Vikings offense has really been struggling of late. They have a lot of turnovers, lots of fumbles, or Kirk Cousins throwing a 99-yard pick six like he did last week. Their offense is just disappearing through periods of the game and just doing nothing. So I'm kind of expecting that to kind of happen here. I could see this game possibly being one-sided if the Vikings offense, like I just said, does decide to go MIA for a little bit. But I think worst case scenario, I think the Vikings will probably keep this one a little close. I'm thinking probably a 24-17 Chiefs win, going comfortably under that 53-point mark.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with the Vikings right now is their run game is non-existent. I mean, they missed Dalvin Cook big time. Madison is just not a great back, not a starting N.F.L. back. And then the Chiefs, I mean, they've been running the ball pretty well with Pacheco, but yeah, they're definitely missing that second go-to guy. I mean, Kelsey's he's getting all the attention, and then I don't really have a lot of faith in the other receivers to make a play or be as reliable as Kelsey is, or somewhat to his reliability. So,
thank you, kind sir. I appreciate your support.
Sure. All right. Well, I'm also going to get into my game pick, and I'm also going to take an under. I think we both got burned on overs last week. So I'm going to do Cowboys at 49ers under 45 points, which is at -108 on DraftKings. So the last two games that they've played, I think it was last year in the playoffs, and I don't remember if it was another one last season or the year before, but both of those games have gone under this 45-point mark. And then also every Sunday night football game this year has gone under that 45-point mark. So not a ton of points being scored. I like the trend there, and I like following that trend. Both defenses are top 5 right now statistically. I think the 49ers have the number 1 defense in the league, and the Cowboys are ranked 5th. I don't think the Cowboys will be able to score a lot of points, but I think the 49ers have a chance at probably scoring at least like 24, 27 points. I think ultimately the 49ers win with like a score of like 27, like 17, or maybe 30-13 or something, but right under that 45-point mark. I think the 49ers are super legit, and I think that they have the Cowboys number in recent years. So I'm taking that under and following the trend of unders in Sunday night football games.
I like that. I didn't know that they've all gone under, but I guess, when you sit down and think about it for Sunday night football, I'm like, yeah, these games are usually kind of boring. Again, I love Sunday night football. Sunday night football is always my favorite of any of the networks that show football. But yeah, I guess when the lights are bright, the offenses go away. That's nuts. All right, I'll go ahead and give my player prop of the week. And this is going to be a kind of wild one. This is going to be putting this guy on the map, if you will.
Okay.
I'm going to Michael Wilson over 37.5 receiving yards, -110 at Bet365.
Whoa.
Now I'll start here. Blake, do you know who Michael Wilson is?
I think he's a receiver on the Cardinals.
Yeah, damn it. I was really hoping you wouldn't. Anyway, yeah, like I said, not a lot of people, unless you're Blake, are familiar with Michael Wilson yet. But let me introduce you. He is the rookie wide receiver out of Stanford playing for the Cardinals. He is currently the team's number 2 leading receiver with 237 yards on the season. Wow. He is 2 yards behind the team's leading receiver, Marquise Brown, who has 239. So he's right there with the top guy. But like I said, Michael Wilson hasn't been really getting a lot of media hype because guys like Puka Nacua exist, getting crazy statistics. And I'm not going to sit here and say that Michael Wilson is Puka, but he's flying under the radar. He's sneaky good, man. And I really like his matchup this week. This week, the Cardinals are playing at home versus the Bengals. And the Bengals have really been struggling recently, man. And I'll talk about why I like the matchup here. But stats time. Wilson has gone over this line of 37.5 receiving yards in the last 3 games. Last week, he had 7 catches for 76 yards. 2 weeks ago, 2 catches, 86 yards. And then 3 weeks ago, he had 3 catches, 56 yards. So going over that line in all 3 games, the reason I love this matchup, like I said, is the Bengals have really been struggling. Every Bengals game that they've had this year, at least 2 wide receivers have gone over this mark of 37.5 in all 4 of their games. And 2 of those 4 games, 3 wide receivers have been able to go over this mark. I just don't think the Bengals defense has been specifically very good so far, or I could just say that about the Bengals in general. But my only concern here for this line is that the Bengals could continue to struggle and struggle maybe more than I'm expecting. And the Cardinals get an early lead and then just run the ball and chew a lot of clock like they did against Dallas 2 weeks ago. So that's my only concern with this bet. I think he's definitely going to get the targets because he's been the number 2 guy on the team. But the good news is when the Cardinals did beat Dallas, that shocker 2 weeks ago, Wilson crushed this line with 86 yards. So whether the Bengals decide to suck it up more than usual or not, I think he's easily going to cruise over this line of 37.5 receiving yards. And hopefully we can help put Michael Wilson in the spotlight here because, like I said, I don't think a lot of people are aware of this guy yet. And I'd like to see him go out there and shine bright, you know?
Yeah, that 37.5, I mean, that seems pretty low considering his stats so far in the season. Josh Dobbs has been really surprising this season in the NFL as starting for the Cardinals, considering he got in there like a week before the season started. But I mean, like this guy, I didn't know who he was until like this past weekend when I saw like a couple stats. Overall, I like the pick. I think statistically it makes sense. And the Bengals are not very good this year, at least not yet. I expect them to get better, but good pick.
Thank you. I'd like you to go ahead and give your player prop
now. Okay, so I'm riding with the guy who I've bet on before and won that bet. I'm going to go Derrick Henry 80 plus rush yards, and that is plus 102 on FanDuel. I like this pick a lot. I mean, he's starting to get a lot more volume, and that's directly leading to the Titans offense playing much better. They just destroyed the Bengals 27-3. And he had, I think, 22 rushes, and he had a rush touchdown and a passing touchdown, actually. But in his career against the Colts, he averages 91.9 yards a game. And he's gone over 80 yards in 8 of his past 9 games against the Colts. The Colts rush defense is very poor. They gave up 164 rush yards last week, and 2 weeks ago they gave up 186 rush yards. I know at the beginning of the season they were kind of getting their running back too involved a lot, but over the past couple of weeks, Derrick Henry has been getting most of the volume, and I like this matchup a lot. Divisional matchup, and usually they run the heck out of the ball in those matchups. So I think it's a good line at plus 102.
I like it. I feel like Derrick Henry, every time he plays one of his division rivals in the AFC South, he just takes it personal and just absolutely runs over them like by a lot.
He dominates.
So I know usually in divisional games, you're like, okay, low scoring type game, but Derrick Henry every time is just going to run over them a billion times. I don't know what it is, but just what it feels like to me. All right. Rebranding time. It's time for the little rebrand here. So again, we are pivoting away from calling this our wild card. It is now our Shame-Ful Lock of the week, better known as like a best bet type thing, our safest favorite play. We'll track this as another category just because, but we'll also count it towards the overall record. But I'm going to a little 2-leg same game parlay for my Shame-Ful Lock of the week. I'm going to CJ Stroud, 225 plus passing, and Texans Falcons under 49.5. This little 2-leg same game parlay, I got this at Caesars for plus 111. So without further ado, these are two picks that I've kind of gone with pretty recently, specifically Stroud and the Falcons, Mr. Checkdown Man. CJ Stroud has been going on a tear. If you've heard me before, you've heard me say this. I probably sound like a broken record, but Stroud is killing it, man. Ohio State. He has gone over this line of 225 passing in every start he's had in the NFL. Again, small sample size, 4 games, but last week, 306 yards against my Steelers. Terrible. Steelers suck, apparently. 280 week before that, 284 3 weeks ago, and week 1 against the Ravens, he had 242. In Stroud we trust. Stroud has been killing this number. Again, I went with the alt line here just because I think it's safer. I think his real line, I think it's only at like 248, which is still pretty low in my opinion for him. But again, we only need 225 from you, Stroud. So keep doing what you've been doing. And then for my second leg here, I'm going to under 49.5. Texans play the Falcons this week, and the original line is 41.5. I like taking it and moving it to 49.5 just to get a little bit extra cushion. But the Falcons have really been struggling on offense recently as well. Over the last 2 weeks, they've only scored 13 points. Desmond Ridder, there's been talks of possibly benching him for Taylor Heineke. Mr. Checkdown Man is just not doing much besides doing what he does best and checking it down. Unfortunately, I'm not taking Bijan Robinson this week, so I won't be hyping that up again. But I just think that since he doesn't really push the ball down the field, they can't really score anything. It's up to their defense to try to do it all, and their defense is above average, I would say, but I don't think it's enough to carry them. So like I said, I'm looking for Stroud to keep letting it rip like he's been doing, and the Falcons to continue to be piss poor. Hopefully that helps us cruise to this under 49.5, and CJ gets that 225 we're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it firsthand last week. CJ Stroud just absolutely torched Steelers defense.
Oh yeah.
They started to get the run game going, which obviously helps quarterback a lot, opens up those wide receiver matchups just because they got to fill the box more. But yeah, CJ, he's been great this year, man. I think he's probably the favorite right now for offensive rookie of the year.
He is.
So I mean, everyone's super high on him. 225 sounds like an easy mark he can definitely hit. So yeah, hopefully that bet hits for you, pal.
I need it. Best bet, baby.
You're locked.
I'm locked in.
Locked in. Okay. My shameful lock is going to be with the Jets. It's going to be Zach Wilson. No, I'm just kidding. Not Zach Wilson. I'm going to go Breece Hall over 60.5 rush yards at -114 on FanDuel. So I think you sent some update on him during this week saying that he's no longer going to be on the snap count, which I had no idea he was on a snap count. I mean, did you have any idea he was?
I did not. I actually was just talking. I had him in my work fantasy league and dropped him this week. And then the next day I read apparently he'd been on a snap count this entire time. And I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously I think since he's off that snap count now, he's going to be getting a lot more touches, just considering how explosive a running back he can be. But they're playing the Broncos, and we all know the Broncos defense, especially their rush defense, is terrible. They're so bad. I think they're bottom 3 in the league rush defense. Last week they gave up 171 yards. 2 weeks ago they gave up 350 to the Dolphins, and then 3 weeks ago they gave up 122 rush yards. And I think the Jets offense is kind of starting to find a rhythm. Zach Wilson is kind of starting to figure it out. I think they're making some easier plays for him. So, but the only bad thing is Breece Hall hasn't hit this line over 60.5 since week 1, but I'm expecting him to have a huge performance against the Broncos, considering how bad they are. So that is my lock for the week, my shameful lock of the week.
I like it. I think, again, I know I was also just burned by finding out that he was on a snap count. Way to tell us, freaking Jets.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like I said, I dropped him in fantasy in my work league, and as soon as I looked, he had already been taken by someone else. So
Yeah, right now I believe he's actually on Tim's bench. Tim, I'm playing him in fantasy this week, so I'm just expecting Brees Hall to go off. So you're
Hopefully
welcome for that.
he benches him.
Yeah, and hopefully he goes over 60.5 yards.
Yeah. All right. Oh no, we're running out of time, it says here, but the good news is we're almost done. But um we do have one more thing we're gonna do. We're gonna start doing this on a weekly basis just because it's something a little fun to do. Throw a little $5-10 on it. Won't count towards our record.
Yeah.
But we're gonna do a joint touchdown scorer parlay. This will just be two guys. We'll both pick one to be our favorite guy to get in the end zone this week, based off matchups or whatever reasoning we like. But I'll start off here. But my pick for our joint touchdown parlay is going to be Anthony Richardson, anytime touchdown scorer. I'm not sure what the odds on this are. It's been all over the place for him, but he's got in the end zone in every game he started this year. He loves to run the ball. He's had over 30 rushing yards in every single one of his games that he started. I know one of those games he did not finish because I think he got concussed. But last week he had one. Week before that he had two, and then the week before that he had another one. So he's got 4 rushing touchdowns this year on the season. I know Jonathan Taylor may or may not be back. That's still TBD. But dude loves to run. People are comparing him to Cam Newton. He'll have a wide open guy and choose to take off. So hopefully he can take off into the end zone this week.
Yeah, I like that pick. I mean, he definitely looks like, to me, he looks like a little bit more athletic than Cam Newton. He just looks a little more fluid. Cam Newton was kind of big and just run people over. So for my touchdown pick, I'm going to take Bijan.
Bijan.
They're home against the Texans, which I like the matchup, but I think the best odds I found on that were plus 115 on DraftKings. I didn't really do a lot of research for this pick, but I think Bijan is already one of the most electric players in the league. I mean, you see all the videos and of him on the ESPN just juking people. So I love Bijan, and I expect him to get in the end zone this Sunday.
Yeah, and I like that. I loved seeing him juke someone out in Toy Story Land. That was fun.
Yeah.
I have him in all my fantasy leagues, so I'm a diehard Bijan guy right now. But we did go ahead and parlay these together. Bijan, anytime touchdown scorer, and Anthony Richardson, anytime touchdown scorer. That will not count, by the way, just so we're clear. If he throws a touchdown, that will not count. He will either have to rush to get one in or receive one in, which he's probably not going to receive one.
Just never know.
They do a little Philly special, maybe. But the best odds for this is plus 362 on DraftKings. We actually placed this about an hour ago. And then I didn't see something fun fact here because I went around all the sports books, the normal books, and did a little window shopping just who's going to give us the best odds here. And I saw that this is actually only like 250 on BetMGM for some reason.
Wow.
So make sure you definitely shop around. If you only use one book, I'd highly suggest maybe using more than one, just because some books price things way differently, and you'd probably feel a little not great if this cashed and you put it on a book that was just giving you a bad price versus a book that's going to give you way more money if it hits. That's always a day one suggestion for me if you're going to do this. But yeah, I think that about wraps us up for week 5 here. Blake, any closing remarks from you?
No, I don't think so. Just hoping to get some wins this weekend. I think I'm due. So.
Oh yeah, you're due, baby.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that'll wrap us up. Hope everyone has a good time. Comment below what you think. Let us know how bad we suck. It's bounce back season. We're going up. That's all there is. Thank you. Appreciate the support.
Peace.
See you later.